Hello friends, it's New Year's Eve, it's pretty warm outside. I'm just sitting here swilling some of this amber cappuccino liqueur. South Aussie, it's pretty good, makes awesome iced coffee. Stiff gave this to me, thanks Stiff. We first tried this at Cheese Fest this year and it was pretty bloody good. I sort of knocked off a bottle of that in like 10 minutes. But anywho, I just thought for shits and giggles I would read a story for you today, because what else am I going to do on New Year's Eve really? It's a bit of a fizzer. Been meaning to do this for a while actually. I'm just going to do it in one take. I'm not going to try and do anything fancy, so I'll probably stuff some things up or whatever, but I'm not going to redo it because it's just for a bit of a laugh. So what I thought I'd do is I've grabbed this story that I wrote when I was in year 12 in October 1998. So over 23 years ago. Long time ago, I am old. It was a story I wrote in year 12 English and had Jane Garrard as my teacher, or Garrard as they like to be called, but sorry Garrards, it's just hard to break the habit. Mrs Garrard was a good year 12 English teacher. I liked her much more than my much older year 11 English teacher. Sure lots of us know who that probably was. But anyway, in this particular, well, on this particular occasion, Mrs Garrard set us a holiday assignment, which was to basically just do a bit of a free choice prose, bit of a writing assignment, pretty much just write a story. So we had all holidays to do it. But in my typical year 12 style, I did it, I think at about 10:30 PM on the Sunday night before school went back. So yeah, probably 12 hours before I actually submitted it. But it actually worked out quite well for me. It actually scored me 20 out of 20, so Mrs Garrard really liked it. And it actually, with my blessing, she entered it into some story writing competition that the advertiser was running. And it actually, yeah, made it to the finalists, and I won myself like a $50 voucher from Dimmicks or, yeah, one of the book places, and I went and bought a few books and stuff, so that was pretty good. But anyway, she always had faith in me, so thank you, Mrs Garrard. I hope if, you know, when I stick this online, someone is able to kind of send it to her or alert her to it or something. Hope she sees it. Hi, Mrs Garrard, if you are watching. So yeah, I'm just going to read my story. So it's one that I just sort of pulled straight out of my head, like I said, at the very last minute, which is how I kind of rolled in year 12. Actually, I kind of rolled like that too, because I was massively fat. But yeah, that's how I did my stuff. I passed. English was actually, yeah, my best subject. I got an A. That's wicked. Hey, I did something. But anyway, God, I'm bloody good at just digressing, aren't I? And I'm pretty good at drinking delicious liqueurs too. That's probably not going to last too long. Anywho, let's get to the story. Hooray! Alright, so I've printed it out, I've found it. It's exactly as I wrote it in October 1998. I haven't edited it in any way, so it's not perfect. I was only 17 and probably already killed a fair few brain cells by that age. But yeah, I'll just read it exactly how it was. So first is the little kind of ass-kissy preamble that the English teachers wanted us to write that none of us wanted to write, but we just kind of wrote what we assumed they wanted to hear. So here is the preamble. For my holiday writing task, I decided that I would write a short story. I want another writing piece for my coursework, and a high mark would boost my coursework considerably. Seeing that the writing task was set by none other than myself, I decided to write a humorous story. I thoroughly enjoy writing in a light-hearted way, and my best work probably comes from my slightly warped sense of humour. So not much has changed in all that time. I chose a strange topic to write about because I like rising to the challenge of tackling weird things. I wanted to use several different writing skills when writing the story and keep the story's narration relatively formal. If I score highly, I shall definitely submit this with my coursework in the writing section. If I don't score exceptionally highly, well, it was worth it, just for the fun anyway. Ho ho ho. Alright, so let's get into it. See how we go. I might just have another sneaky little drink of this. Seriously, I don't know where Stiff got this. he'll be able to tell you, but it's really good, really tasty. Make a nice coffee with it. Okay, the story is called 4 Hours. Cecil was a Yugoslavian mud grasshopper. It is a fact of nature that the average male Yugoslavian mud grasshopper has an average lifespan of just 4 hours. 4 hours isn't even enough time to watch 4 ABC nature documentaries. This is a story of Cecil the Yugoslavian mud grasshopper and the effect he had on the world in his 4 hours of life.
"Boys, come and gather round your old grandmother,"
said Grandma Hopper to all of her male grandchildren. 400 newborn male grasshoppers gathered to the feet of their grandmother.
"Boys, now as you know, us female Yugoslavian mud grasshoppers have a life expectancy of 10 days. Well, lads, I hate to be the one to tell you all this, but in 4 hours' time, you'll all be dead."
A sudden murmur spread through the crowd of anxious young grasshoppers at the terrible news. "Grandma!" cried out Cecil, the most assertive of all the newborn male offspring. "Are you trying to tell us that our life expectancy is just 4 measly hours?"
"Why, yes, young Cecil,"
replied Grandma Hopper.
"I'm at the ripe old age of 9 days, and I've seen thousands of you poor males come and go. Why, I've had to tell what I'm telling you all now a number of times to a number of different batches of kiddies. I'm sorry, lads, but that's the way it is. In less than 4 hours, you'll all be bird food."
"This is terrible, Granny!" exclaimed Cecil over the top of 399 of his panicky brothers. "What's the point of our existence if we only live for 4 hours?"
"Why, to breed, of course,"
replied Grandma Hopper.
"You are all at sexual maturity, and it is your destiny to find a mate. Time is ticking, young'uns, so I'd get moving if I were you."
400 pairs of male eyes suddenly turned to the 400 female Yugoslavian mud grasshoppers from the same batch of children.
"Don't even think about it,"
yelled Grandma Hopper.
"They're your sisters, for crying out loud."
There was a great noise as 399 young male Yugoslavian mud grasshoppers all took to the air, drawn by their instinct to find a mate. Cecil, however, stayed behind.
"Well, Cecil, follow your brothers, go! Time is running out,"
yelled Grandma Hopper over the humming of grasshopper wings. "No," replied Cecil, "I can't help feeling that my life has more purpose than to just race out, get a bit, and then kick the bucket."
"Well, I'm sorry, young Cecil,"
replied Grandma Hopper.
"but that's just the way it is. If it wasn't like that, then our species would surely become extinct. There's nothing more I can say except go now and quickly find an attractive young grasshopper to breed with."
And with that, Grandma Hopper flew away. Poor Cecil was sitting on the ground in wonder. Somehow he felt that he was different from all of his brothers, and that he shouldn't just follow his natural instincts. Somehow his life had a greater purpose. He just didn't know what it was. Half an hour went by and still Cecil sat, wondering about his destiny. He was now 1 hour old, which meant that he had a mere 3 hours of life left in him. "It just can't be right," thought Cecil. "I've hardly been alive 1 hour and I'll be dead in 3 hours' time. What can I do to make a difference? What's my calling in life?" No matter how hard Cecil thought, he just couldn't come to a conclusion. Another hour went past, and Kevin, one of Cecil's 399 brothers, flew past.
"Cecil,"
called out Kevin,
"get moving. You've only got about 2 hours of life left in you, and it looks like you haven't found a mate yet. I've just done the deed, and now I can relax and die happy. What's with you?"
"I don't know, Kevin," replied Cecil. "I just feel as if I have a greater purpose in life than to do the dirty with some female I've never even met."
"Well, it's up to you, bro,"
replied Kevin, and he flew away. "I suppose I should heed the advice of my brother and go and fulfill my empty destiny," Cecil quietly said to himself and took to the air. Sorry, if you hear a meow, that's just my unhappy cat Sticks. I'm keeping him inside today because it's hot and he's just having a whinge. Back to the story. Cecil flew through the air for almost 2 hours looking for a mate. None were to be found wherever Cecil looked. Well, it looks like I won't be able to fulfill the most basic of my instincts, said Cecil to himself miserably. I guess my life has no importance at all in the scheme of things. Feeling weak with old age, Cecil spied a ripe apple hanging in a tree. That looks like a good enough place to die as any, thought Cecil to himself. He flew to the apple, and when directly above it, sadly, Cecil passed away. His body fell to the apple, bumping it just enough to make it fall out of the tree. Plop! The apple landed directly on the head of a man sitting under the apple tree, contemplating. The man's name was Isaac Newton. The apple sparked a most historic, scientifically important thought. That's it, yelled Newton. Two bodies attract each other with a force directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them. And so Newton's law of gravitation was written, along with his laws of motion. From Cecil's body causing that famous apple to fall, Isaac Newton became one of the most famous scientists in history. And who did he unknowingly have to thank? Why, none other than Cecil the Yugoslavian mud grasshopper. Because of him, we have Newton's laws and theories. So that's what Cecil's higher purpose was. It's not written in the history books, but Cecil the Yugoslavian mud grasshopper is one of history's true heroes. Good on you, Cecil the Yugoslavian mud grasshopper. The end. Note: no Yugoslavian mud grasshoppers were harmed during the making of this story. And that's it. It probably took longer to read than I thought, just being 2 pages back to back with really big spaces in between. Oh, hello, Satchel. Do you want to come into the camera? Hello. You're very fluffy. Yeah, thanks for listening, I guess. Like I said, it was just something to do on this pretty dull New Year's Eve. Apart from drinking, of course, I might just continue doing that. But yeah, thank you, Mrs Garrard, for giving me a 20 out of 20 for that story. That was very nice of you. And I think she even sort of used it through her English classes, even after our class of 98 had well and truly gone out of Loxton High for years to come, so that's quite an honour. Like I said before, if anyone does have a way of showing her this, please do. Sending my regards to the Garrards. I'll see you at a Port game this year, guys, if everything goes alright. That is it from me. Who knows what I'll do next? Probably be a bit of a bum. Anywho, Happy New Year, everyone. We'll hopefully see you soon. Say hello. No, you're not really interested, are you? Okay. From me and Satchel. Bye-bye.